Holy cow, is it that time again? Today we're taking a look at Transformers Studio Series number 13. We're looking at Voyager-class Megatron. Now this is the version of Megatron that comes from Revenge of the Fallen. So even though he does share some visual similarities, mostly the head and some of the chest detail with Movie 1 Megatron and Movie 3 Megatron, his alternate mode is the tank, that kind of flying tank. Unfortunately, unlike the original version of this alternate mode for Megatron, this Megatron doesn't have wings or like a jetpack kind of thing. This is just supposed to represent Megatron in the forest fight when he murders Optimus. If for some reason this is a surprise to you, have you not seen Revenge of the Fallen? It came out in 2009. It just says, Megatron holds nothing back to unleash destruction against his ultimate nemesis. Alright. So obviously he's a bunch of kind of grayish silver plastic, but that's never really been too much of a surprise for Megatron. He's got some phenomenal detail on him, especially, let me see if I can get in here so you can see the detail on the head and the chest. It might be a little blurry, but take a look at that. He's got some fine detail kind of picked out in some gold paint, a little bit of red for the eyes. I'd say probably the only real downside of how the mold is that if you lift the arms up, the chest is kind of hollow. Like, take a look at that. The chest is pretty hollow. I'd say that's the main downside of the physical mold. I mean, as you notice, he's a very asymmetric design. We have the cannon arm, and we have his arm that was made from, the little one that was scrapped in order to help revive him. The cannon arm, it's got some good posability. It's a nice strong hinge, which is nice. Got his big old fusion cannon here in the front. And then, as you can see, you've got the blade that can fold out. I do like it that this is tight, so it's not going to just slide out. So not only can you have Megatron's big old blade for stabbing primes right through the chest, but you get a little kind of crabby claw thing too. One thing I will say is I wish this blade claw thing was a little bit shorter. Like, I wish it ended here, just so it wasn't so gargantuan. And of course we do see the jets on Megatron's back, so he does have the jets for implied flight mode. He just doesn't have the wings like his original version of this incarnation had. Feet are pretty good. They're nice and wide feet. But yeah, overall, not a bad looking figure. I really like him. And just to compare him with a few other figures, here he is with Studio Series Starscream. You failed me yet again, Starscream. Yes, my master. You can see Starscream's a little bit shorter, and that's kind of due to how his legs work. But Starscream's a little bit shorter, and I think these two look really great together. And then we also have Brawl, who we looked at just a couple videos ago. Brawl, you can see, is a lot shorter. He's a lot shorter for a Voyager, but definitely looks really good next to Megatron. He looks like the big dumb brute that Megatron would call on to, get rid of some pesky Autobots for him. And then last but not least, just because we have to have another Megatron, here we have the Last Night Voyager Megatron. And he's a little bit shorter, but I mean, you guys know how I feel about this figure. In my humble opinion, the Voyager figure is one of my favorite Transformers figures ever. Yeah, I mean, these two look phenomenal. If you told me they were the same character, I probably wouldn't believe you, but if you told me this was Megatron, I would believe you. And if you told me this was Megatron, I would believe you. But if you told me, hey, which one of these two is Megatron, I would be like, I don't know. Definitely interesting to see how the character has evolved over the movies. Whew, this was quite the endeavor. I I spent more time than I'm willing to admit getting it into the vehicle mode, and as you can see, even though it looks like Megatron's tank mode, I didn't do everything completely right. You can see it wobbles. Oops. I don't know exactly what is wrong with it. I can tell there are things that I certainly need to, like, probably shift, but, like, from the front on, doesn't really look too bad. You can see there's a little bit of an alignment issue with these little, like, shelf pieces, whereas chin isn't really supposed to rest, it just goes there. I couldn't really get the backpack panel to pin in right. And I'm a little disappointed, honestly, but with how tiny the gun is. I mean, this is his gun, but he's got another gun right here in the back. Like, he's got a butt gun that is larger than the gun he has here that he shoots with when in his tank mode. He also has two extra guns that I kind of pointed out here and here, so he can get a little bit of posability. He can shoot straight up, he can shoot forward and straight forward and everything, or you can just, if you make it flush, it kind of blends in with the robot, the robotic Cybertronian look. Since we have him currently in his alternate mode, let's compare him to the robots I compared to before. Here we have Brawl, again, from the Studio Series line, again, Voyager class. And you can tell that, yeah, they scale pretty well. Even though Megatron is a Cybertronian tank, he does scale pretty well with a real-world tank, which is honestly kind of nice. Honestly, I do kind of like his treads more, even though they don't line up as well. Gotta compare him, of course, to Starscream, who turns into a jet here. I think this looks pretty good. Starscream's a little bit longer, a little bit wider, but that's mostly just because of the nose cone and the wings. But yeah, I think they go well. And of course, just for fun, we have to use the Last Night Megatron. Again, a lot longer and wider due to the wings and the nose cone, but, I mean, scale well. I think as an overall figure goes, I much rather prefer this Megatron. I think this Megatron on the left from the Last Night is has a better alternate mode. I think the accessories, the axe blade and the cannon, or at least the weapons, yeah, the axe blade and the cannon are a lot better than the cannon arm that also has a flip-out blade of this Megatron. I think the color scheme looks a little bit better. You know, the gunmetal black with the little bit of highlights of gold looks a lot better than the kind of bland silver with bits of black and gold. I think for head sculpts, both of them have great head sculpts, but I just think overall this is a better Megatron. However, the one thing I will say is that considering this is a Cybertronian mold, they did phenomenally. Something like this is easy to do because this is a real vehicle and you can use real vehicle parts when making this figure. This is something fictional. This is a CGI rendered vehicle that does not exist in real life, that turns into an alien-looking robot, and they managed to make it into a toy. So I would say, as a toy, as a toy of a alien tank that turns into a robot war machine, this is pretty good. I would still, again, I'd say that the Last Night Megatron is better, but overall, not too bad. So, what do you think about Studio Series 13 Megatron. Personally, I think his robot mode is a lot better than his alternate mode, though I think it is definitely worth the investment if either mode or both interest you. Until next time, I'm Metagross Freak, and thanks for watching.